Doctor, let's have you treat yourself like we agreed before. You and me, we're gonna visit a market at our next stop.
Cuando el viento huye el
One hit.
ondas funcionales.
Casualties, retreat!
One shot. One kill.
Thunder.
Do not disrupt my thought process. Do not disrupt my thought process.
This is an excellent opportunity.
Nuestra
Do not disrupt my thought process.
Kind of quick.
Do not disrupt.
What?
You're going.
This particle needs
La ciudad tiene
People go to
Do not disrupt my Do not disrupt my thought process.
nuestra mano.
Do not disrupt my thought process. Do not disrupt my
cover the gun. Cover. Please particle.
Do not disrupt my thought process.
Now go.
Doctor, I always find a great deal to learn from you, though I hope I never have occasion to use this